Welcome! Welcome to 101 week 2. Super glad that you guys are here tonight. We're going to talk about appointment setting. Are you guys excited about that?
Yeah!
How many of you love making phone calls? One phone.
I don't mind.
Joanne, you don't mind?
I don't mind.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to teach you a system of how we make phone calls. And so you may do this already. You may do something like it. This may be completely new to you. So we are going to have a couple people kind of filing in as we get started. But turn off your phones. At least put them on silent. I'm going to do that to me too because I was buzzing earlier. And feel free to ask questions. Last week there was a little bit of feedback, but this week there's going to be a lot more opportunity for feedback and questions. So let me know anytime if you guys have anything. And try to keep the shuffling. I mean, we're going to have people coming in and out, but try to keep the shuffling to a minimum so that we can focus on what we're doing, because this one's really important. So appointment setting is your #1 most important skill for you to master. So if you are nervous, what are those people going to hear on the other side of the phone?
Nervous.
They're going to hear nervous, right? So in Primerica, everything you do is a function of being able to get in front of people, right? So when you're not in front of people, you're not making money or appointments. So with being able to get in front of people, you need to really master the art of setting appointments. So if you are not on appointments, you can't win in this business. So how many people are here to win? Woo! All right, that was good. All right. And the good news is that appointment setting is actually a skill. So I have 1 or 2 people in my business that they're really comfortable on the phone, but I have 1 or 2 people that are so petrified to even make appointments that they forget their phone when they meet me to make appointments. So the good news is that this is a skill. So the more you do a skill, the better you'll get, right? That's the idea anyways. And so you have to become a master on the phone. So there was actually a time in my business that I actually woke up every morning and I called Aristida, and he would throw some wonky objection at me. But it helped me to be more confident, to think on my feet a little bit more, and to really master being on the phone. And the good news is that when you're in this business, it's super easy because we tell you exactly what to say. And when you get really good at what we tell you to say, then your appointment setting rate is going to go up, right? Yeah. So you must gain the mastery. I feel like we said this already. So you need to get the mastery of this skill under your belt. So you should actually be able to set 8 to 10 appointments when you're on the phone. 8 out of 10. 8 to 10. You could set 10.
That actually sounds better.
So when you're on the phone and when you're making calls, if you have 2 missed calls that you didn't set the appointment, then call your upline. And I think that'll be the next couple slides. But what is an appointment? So an appointment is a date, a time, and a location. And keep track of this so that you remember what you need to get from the people when you're still on the phone with them. So I actually have a call help sheet that I use, like a little just page toward the back of my notebook, and I write down their name so that I don't forget who I'm talking to, because that's happened before. And I write down the date, and I put a line for fill in the blank, and I write down the time, and I put a line for fill in the blank. And it seems silly, but when I don't do that, I always forget the address. Every single time. Every single time. If I don't have it written down, I have forgotten the address. And what are the odds that they're actually going to text you the address? Rob, 0. So here it is. So if you talk to 2 people in a row and you don't set the appointment on either one, it could be the same objection, it could be a completely different objection, but either way, call your trainer. So call the person, and maybe you're sitting with that person, so that person can kind of coach you through the process. But if you're not with them, call them right there. And I had somebody the other day, she was making calls and she would call somebody, then call me. then call somebody, then call me. And I was thinking, she's going to call me after every call. And then I had to rethink my brain. I was like, she's going to call me after every call. That's excellent.
That's wonderful,
right?
yeah.
So I had to stop being grouchy about it. It was good. So if you keep calling through your list and you consistently are not setting the appointment, you're going to burn through your natural market. So how many of you have people that you've called and didn't set up the appointment?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So how confident do you feel in calling that person back again? Not confident at all, right? So Aristida told me the other day, you know, you should call those people and you should sit with them again because you're much more confident now. And I was like, yeah, but I have to call them. So don't burn through your market. Let your trainer help you. If you're consistently making calls and you're stuck on objections, or if you can't get through the script the right way, then call and get help. And that's, I mean, for the most part, your trainer's been here longer than you. Some of you, the person who brought you in was here about the same time as you, but there's still a trainer on top of the two of you, right? And so so there's an appointment setting rule that with appointments you get referrals. So how many of you have ever said, I'm running out of people to call? Right? So that tells me actually that you were probably not very good at setting appointments in the beginning, because those people that you're closest to can help you get in front of more people. Right? Smile, everyone. This is a good topic. All right. So what is an appointment? On an appointment, you present, and depending on what type of appointment it is, you're presenting to a couple if they're married, you're presenting to an individual if they're single. So that was actually something that happened to me a couple of times in the beginning. Was I knew they were single, but I wanted to recruit them. Has that ever come up for you guys? Yeah. So the best way to overcome that is to say, hey, the best way for me to show you what we do is to actually show you what we do. And it sounds really funny to say that, but everybody that I've ever said that to completely understands where I'm coming from. And so you can very easily present to that individual that you would like to recruit in a way that you're going to recruit them, but it's over the kitchen table. Okay? So what is not an appointment? I've had a couple of these in my time. So I will see you at the birthday party next week and we'll catch up and I'll let you know what I'm doing. So that is not an appointment. As a trainer, as a team leader, I am not going to show up to the birthday party with you. Right? So never talk to people in person about what we do. So when you're at the birthday party, you're not going to say, you know, oh, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Let's go in the other room real quick and let me show you what I have to tell you. Because you're alone. If you're still training, that's bad news. And they're going to probe you with questions and you're not set up for that. So what is not an appointment? Let's get together for lunch, coffee, or dinner, but you don't tell them that you're actually going to present to them. So they think you're coming to hang out and have a cup of coffee and catch up. Maybe you haven't seen this person since high school, since college, from a past job, and they're expecting coffee and a good time, and you're like, bam! Look at what I'm doing now. You need life insurance. That's not good. It's not going to happen well. So what is not an appointment? So that bam is going to be ambushing them. So when you don't tell them exactly what you want to happen when you sit down, they're not going to move forward with anything because the red flags are everywhere. So you tricked them into having coffee with you so you could sell them something they don't need. In their eyes. Absolutely. So why not set the appointment in person? So the stage isn't set right. So if you were a dentist and you showed up at the birthday party and somebody said, hey, I've got a cavity, what would the dentist do? The dentist would say, great, we'll see you in the office. Thanks, Denise. So the dentist isn't going to have all the appropriate tools that they need. right? So they're gonna need a special chair, they're gonna need special glasses, whatever it is that the tools for your trade are, then you're not gonna have those when you're in birthday party mode. Is that fair? So the end result that you desire cannot happen when you set the appointment in person. So I tried this once. We were at school and had just dropped our kids off. And I said, hey, Michelle, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I want to actually share with you something really cool. Let me get your number and I'll give you a call later. And she was like, but I'm right here. And I was like, yeah, but I gotta go. And she's like, you just told me you were going to Kroger. I'm like, yeah, I gotta. She's like, well, I'll go to Kroger with you. And we could talk in the car. I'm like, oh, so, okay. So I was kind of trapped, right? And so instead of just saying, you know, I'm new, you know, let me get my script. I mean, whatever I was feeling at the time, it just wasn't going well. So I just was like, I'm gonna go for it because I got this. And so I said to her, I said, you know, I'm helping people in the area of finances. And she knew Dave Ramsey. We had talked about it before. I said, kind of like Dave Ramsey, only on steroids. And she was like, oh, that's great. My husband's gonna love sitting with you. I was like, oh, this is going really well. This is going great. And so then she asked me another question. And I was like, well, when do you want to sit down together? She's like, well, so Dave does this. So what do you do about this? And I was like, well, that's part of what I'd show you. She's like, well, just show me right now. And I was like, I'm stuck. And it just kept not going well, right? So, you know, you just have to be aware of those situations. So prepare before you are underprepared. And so I did end up sitting with them, but then it was like a super huge chargeback. So just to say. So another reason why not in person, so nothing good will come from this appointment. Super huge chargeback, right? So you're only hurting yourself in the long run. So I don't know about how you guys do your presentation, but I have my iPad, I have my phone, I have my notebook, I have my computer, I have my flip chart, I have my crusade brochure. There's no way that I'm gonna have all of those things on the fly at the birthday party, right? And if I do, it's because I'm always ready, but it's in the car and there's all kinds of other stuff going on. So it's only setting yourself up for a rough start. So the last reason why you can't win if you don't play the game. If you can't win, then don't play the game, sorry. So the object of appointment setting is to win the appointment, right? So if you already know going into it, then just don't say anything. So if you're at the birthday party, start with something more simple. Hey, we should exchange numbers.
I'm updating my phone.
They will almost always give you their phone number, right? So there's two kinds of people when you're in public, when you're at that birthday party. So I don't like having my business discussed in public.
We have Bill moving down.
Yeah, Bill, scoot on down.
This is a popular room.
I love it. Come on in.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right. So there's two kinds of people. So I don't like having my business discussed in public, and that person that feels the need to be right, and they'll argue with you in public. So now you're at the birthday party and you just pulled Uncle Jim off to the living room and you're telling him all about it and he doesn't like it. And now he's going to go back out to the birthday party and explain to everybody that you just tried to rip him off.
Wow.
Right? So that's not good. So with a phone call, yeah. All right. So with a phone call, not a text message. So I have a couple texters on my team. So when you're texting the appointment back and forth, that person can actually just fall off the face of the planet at any time. And so you never know, is that appointment actually happening? Because they stopped responding to my text. So if you're anything like me, like sometimes I won't read a text and I'll keep it new so that I remember to look back at it. So you could be that person, Or you could be the person that read the message and is not responding to you on purpose. So with a phone call, you always have your confirmation. And on the phone, you have your skill set to work for you. So when there's an objection via text, you don't necessarily know what their tone is or if they're going to stop responding. Or, I mean, sometimes the text is like 3 or 4 questions back and forth. And your skill set is to be able to conquer that objection in a quick, instantaneous statement, right? And so if they start a conversation on Facebook, email, social media, whatever it is, convert it to the phone. So the easiest way to do that is to say, hey, it looks like you have questions, so what's the best number I can reach you at? I'll answer them all at once. Right? So it would be best to talk offline over the phone, is what one of our team members from Auburn Hills used to say. It would be best if we talk offline over the phone. And when you're on the phone, the reason that we have a script in place is because we have things that we can and can't say over the phone. So when you're looking at compliance, does everybody know what compliance is? Yeah, so stay within your boundaries. And so when you're on the phone, you have to basically set the appointment, and all of the other questions will come at the presentation. So keep the phone call quick and to the point, because you don't want to start selling things over the phone. Yeah, man, you know, you're going to love it when we sit with you. We'll give you a quote for life insurance. It's going to be like $25 for $150,000. Well, that's not compliant, number one, because you don't know, are they a smoker, are they not? You don't know if they have medications or not. So it'd be great if you were really intimate with that person, but if you were really intimate with that person, then they shouldn't be objecting with you over the phone, right? So sometimes when you're on the phone, you're just plain old nervous, and so you make mistakes out of ignorance. But the person on the other side of the line is thinking you're a professional, or at least you're trying to tell them that you're a professional, right? And when you're on the phone, you're in control of the conversation. So when I was in face-to-face with my friend Michelle, I was not in control of that conversation. She was. And so it would have been better for me had I just said, hey, you know, I know that you're really excited about this, but now is not the time or the place. And then it would have just kind of nipped it in the bud. I mean, for her, it could have potentially lowered my chances of sitting with her, but she was a really huge star jack anyways, so. So you can actually be a professional. You can't do your thing unless you set the stage for a presentation. So if I'm not setting the stage on the appointment, on the phone call for a good appointment, they're not going to know what's coming, right? And I'm setting the stage by making sure the trainer knows what date, the trainer knows what time, and the trainer knows the location. If you're independent, so you know the date, so you know the time, so you know the location, and so that they know those 3 things. So that's part of a post-close, is to make sure that they know those 3 things, right? So there's some prerequisites. You have one shot at this. You get them on the phone and you set the appointment. Your job is to set the appointment. So you need to do whatever it takes to set that appointment. And you need to have your mind made up. And if you're not sure, then they're not going to be sure. That nervousness that I first talked about, right? So you need to have your mind made up that these people are going to sit with you, and that these people are going to see value in what we do, and that these people are going to move forward. If you're really wishy-washy on the phone and you're saying things like, I know that you're probably all set, it's really great that you have some great group benefits. You're probably not going to need what we have. Then you're not setting yourself up for that success, right? So if you're confident and you're understanding that you have good things for this family, then your mind is made up. And there are times when I actually have people tell me that I need to stop pushing them to set the appointment now because they're feeling harassed. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I've got that one shot. So they have already said no to me, so I can keep going because they're not setting an appointment with me anyways. Right? So, and if they're a really, really super close friend and you're worried about hurting their feelings, then, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're hurting your feelings by not helping you. So are they the kind of person that you should be hanging out with anyways? And so if you are convinced that you will set the appointment, then you will have success. And if people knew what we would be doing for them, then they would be willing to sit with us, right? And I have a couple of people that I have actually said that as a response to their objection. Listen, I could tell you everything over the phone and then we're not sitting down together so we can't help you at all, or we can actually sit together and I'm going to show you some really amazing stuff and you're going to be blown away. If you knew what I could do for you, then you would just sit with me. So, you need to set an appointment. You need to never set an appointment in person. You need to follow the scripts. So get your cameras out because here they come. So we have a kitchen table appointment and we have a recruit appointment. So every time you make a phone call, you can do both. It's a matter of your audience. Okay, so a kitchen table is a couple or maybe a single parent, and a recruit appointment is a single person or sometimes a business owner, but for the most part, a recruit appointment is a one or a two. Okay. So common mistakes, setting the wrong type of appointment. Okay. So doing a recruit appointment with a 4 or 5 pointer.
Is there anybody in here that doesn't know the points?
Is there anybody in here who doesn't know the points?
How they get the number 1 to 5? Okay.
Okay, it's actually going to be on the next slide.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, yeah, we'll just go here. So kitchen table appointment is 3 with kids, or a 4 or a 5. So somebody who's married, they own their own home, they have kids, they are the right age, and they're employed. Right, does that sound familiar now?
1 point for each of those.
Yeah, so 1 point for each of them. So a recruit appointment is a 1 or a 2. A kitchen table appointment is at their home and their spouse is there. Right?
Right.
Okay. And there's verbal confirmation and you start with products. And you follow up with the opportunity. Right? A recruit appointment
Go back
is
a second.
what?
Go back. I want to take a picture.
Okay. One more, sorry. Just kidding. All right. All right, so a recruit appointment is 1 or 2 points, married, home, kids, age, employed, and it's at the office or at a neutral place. And a neutral place meaning like what's closest to you. So if I have a recruit in Ann Arbor, but I'm out here at the office, I want them to come towards me, at least towards me. Right? I'm not going to say, what's the coffee shop on your corner that you can walk to? Right? So they can have a little bit of skin in the game. If we're gonna expect them to come here anyways, if they won't come for an interview, then they won't come for a Tuesday or Friday night, right? And so you're gonna lead with the opportunity on a recruit appointment, and then you're gonna follow up with products. And there are absolutely recruit appointments that I've sat on that I've closed life. But at the same time, for the most part, those are not typical appointments. Okay? So appointments of components of a phone call are, just gonna load through. So small talk, so 20 seconds or less. So, hey, how's it going? How's the kids? Moving on. So the reason that I'm calling, I don't have a whole lot of time than the body of the script. I'm not really sure if I told you, but now I'm going to. And then when you get over the body of the script of what you're doing, as far as us getting together, so you're gonna assume that you're moving forward. So as far as us getting together, Denise, what would work better for you? Would Wednesday night work better or Saturday? So always give the two options and always ask yes, yes questions. And then for your post close, so this one's kind of tricky if they're driving. In small talk or in transition, you can find out if they're driving, so you can change that a little bit. But do you keep a calendar? Do you keep your schedule on your phone? I'll wait while you put that in. Or, grab a pen, write that down. Sometimes if they're driving, I'll say, let me know when you're at a traffic light. Let me know when you're at a stoplight so you can write this down. Because if you're anything like me, you're gonna forget as soon as we hang up.
Have you said you've done the text them, hey, text me your address?
Yeah, but I never get an address, so.
Really?
Okay, what about the inverse? You set the appointment with their driver, I can't
Actually,
down, and you do the date, time, and place, and you text it to them.
Yeah, so actually most of the time I send a text following an appointment.
To give
Following
them
the phone call?
give
Following
them
the phone
exactly
call?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I send a text that says, I am super excited to sit with you. I know you wrote it down on your calendar, but just so we're on the same page, this is my cell phone number. Call me because I don't get texts. I'll say those things in my text depending on who it is. But I'll send the address. If it's at a Big B or something, I'll absolutely send the address so that we are not.
It's different babies.
Sometimes there's Tim Hortons
Right.
right across the street from each other.
That's one thing, but I'll say something too, because we were talking about texting and getting back and forth. I usually say, hey, listen, sometimes life happens, so I'm gonna text you, I want you to respond to me with your address, and that way I have your number and you have mine. Because that always gives them an out to make sure they have me in their phone. And I always get the address that way. I don't know why, but it seems to work. Hey, sometimes life happens. I'm busy, you're busy.
Yeah.
So here you go. I'm gonna text you right now, respond to me, and that way we can stay connected. And
Yeah.
always get a yes, yes out of it, at the same time.
Yeah.
But I do get more addresses now since, I don't remember who told me that, if it was last
Yeah.
convention or something, but it really helps.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but you should also be asking them for the address.
Oh, of course, I do, but like
Yeah.
you said, if they're driving or,
Yeah. Yeah, but I could see the value of that because you could say, I know I wrote down your address, but why don't you send it to me anyways, just
Sure.
so that,
I can pop it in
I
the
can make
GPS
sure.
right off my phone.
Yeah.
I do the same excuse too. Yeah.
So, I guess that's okay. But if you have 2 or 3 appointments that you don't get the address for, don't do that anymore. It
Oh,
doesn't
no,
work for you.
Never, never.
Right?
never.
So this is actually the full KT script. Take pictures.
To the corner so your head's out of the way.
So we want your head in there.
No. So hey, Mike, how's it going?
Great. How's it going
Awesome.
with you?
Very cool. Very cool. So the reason I'm calling, I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to share with you. I wasn't sure if I told you or not. I actually just got some finance licensing, and it's going really, really well. I want to actually see if I can pop by and show you and Wendy what it is that I'm up to. And that way, if you or somebody that you know in the future could use what I do, then you'd know enough about it. So as far as us getting together, what would work best for you? Give 2 options. It says weekdays, weekends. You don't have to do that. If you're part-time and you only run appointments on Friday and Saturday, then those are your 2 options.
I notice in this particular script, you have finance license or licensing and stuff. Is that, I mean, is that compliant with producer's license only to say that?
Yes, because you're running a financial analysis.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know,
Like-
because of the whole we thing that we talked about in the past, if I sit with someone and everything, though, well, I really be interested in IRAs or mutual funds or something, and I'm not licensed yet in
Sure.
securities, so I said, well, we can help you with that.
Yeah.
Right? But I can't say I can help you with that. I'm just trying
Absolutely,
to
so it's a we,
understand
yeah.
that. Okay,
So,
but in this, I mean,
so I just got a finance license, so life insurance is one of the
A
most
finance
important
license.
financial
Yes, it
licenses
is.
that you can get.
okay, just,
So the, I typically go over this with my recruits during orientation, and I say, you know, you don't have your licensing in place, so you can say, I'm getting some finance licensing. You can say, I just started a new job. You can say, I started a new business. You can say, I mean, I kind of role play that with them. What's that?
Well, the license doesn't fit, but the financial needs analysis you can do, but it doesn't fit. with
Yeah,
license.
I mean, yeah, you're not gonna sell that part over the phone. So, I actually don't say finance licensing. I say, I'm not sure if I told you what I'm up to lately, but it's going really well, and I'm looking to expand my network. So I want to sit with you and share with you what it is that I do.
That's how
So
I
it's
do
the
too.
same purpose. Like, I started something new. It's going well. I want to sit with you. And so, you know, it's whatever you're comfortable with. But, you know, I've got some new people that they love that they're getting a finance license, so that's all that they want to talk about. The most important part is no pauses.
Oh, very good.
Okay? So, hey, Mike, the reason that I'm calling, so I just wanted to run by you. I actually started something new.
oh yeah, what's that?
Yeah, so it's going well, and I want to actually share with you and Wendy what it is.
Well, what is it?
Right, so, so, I mean, he was pretty generous, but there are people that I've talked to where you take an inhale and they're like, oh, tell me all about it. What is it? What are you doing? I can't wait. You didn't tell me this, right? And the objections will come with pauses. So if I'm not certain, and the most critical pause is going to be, so I want to get together with you, pop in, show you and Wendy what it is that I'm doing, so that if you or somebody that you know in the future could use what I do, that would be great, right?
That would be great.
What is it that you do?
What is it that you do? You're bad at this. You're very forgiving. So that's where the objections will come. They want to know what it is. So you haven't even gotten to your close yet. So as far as us getting together, what works better for you, right? You want to get there. The whole purpose of the phone call is, so as far as us getting together, what works better for you, right? So, you know, there are times where I've already kind of told somebody through a business card what I do. There are times in networking that I've, you know, shared with them about the financial analysis. And so with those phone calls, I literally want to pick up the phone and say, hey, it's Lynette. So as far as us getting together, what works better for you?
I love
Right?
it. I love it.
Because I've already given them more than enough information. They even maybe said they wanted to meet with me, so I don't need to go through all the fluff, right? But the fluff is important when you haven't set it up, right? So the fluff is, I'm starting something new, it's going really well, right? So no pauses. So here's some phone call do's and don'ts. Are we ready? So no silence during the body. No silence during your fluff, because they will fill in silence. Silence is awkward. Mike apparently does not think so. He would be a great person to practice your phone calls on.
That shows me I need more practice, because even on the other side of it, you told me I'm bad at it. So I would say I'm bad at it.
No,
I'll work at it. We're good.
So, when I'm on the phone, actually, I have a really uncomfortable time talking on the phone while I'm driving. So I will actually get out of my car and I'll be like pacing the parking lot. When I'm at home, I'm standing up and I'm walking around. So people feel the energy of a sit, and you will have more energy with what you say when you're standing. The other thing is to smile. So people hear a smile over the phone. And there's little spots in the script where you can actually fill it with a little bit of a chuckle. And so people hear that too. So I'd love to pop by and, did you hear I'd love to pop by and just, share with you what it is that I'm doing, so that if you or somebody that you know in the future, so you can kind of fit those bigger smiles in, right? And then as far as us getting together, so when you ask a question at the end, wait for the answer, because they will answer. Because that silence is awkward.
First loses.
Yes. So as far as us getting together, Mabel, what works better for you, Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay. So Thursday, like daytime, or is evening better for you guys? Okay. So
Maybe not this Thursday, next
we need to
Thursday.
get better at this. You guys are all so forgiving.
You should have come up with a time right away, 7 or 8.
So here is our full recruit script. So it's just enough different. This one is actually one that I'm asked about a lot, because the appointment setting in our orientation is for a kitchen table. So my new people always want to know, like, what's a good recruit script. So here it is. So the reason I'm calling, I want you to look at something that I'm doing. And I think that it would be a really good thing for you to listen. And as far as us getting together, when can you give me 30 minutes? So I've now shared with them, I want them to look at what I'm doing. It might be really good for them too. So as far as us getting together, what would work? So do you know any people in your life that are gonna say, I don't really think you know what's good for me? I mean, for the most part, that's kind of a compliment. This would be good for you. You would be good at this. I mean, now they're kind of curious, why would I be good at this? What is it, right? So as far as us getting together, tomorrow or Thursday. So a recruit script, even a KT really, I like to set my KTs pretty close to when I can do them. But give them 2 options. So today or tomorrow. I've got time today, or would tomorrow be better? So depending on how you know that person, that could actually help you through that process.
Is that more of a hot market script though? I mean, like saying that to a warm market, I don't know if that would apply.
When I prospect my cashiers, that's what I tell them.
Oh, yeah, waitresses at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Go back.
So, yeah, absolutely. Sorry. So, I had a server the other day, and her name was Kendra. And when I was sitting at the table, I said, "Hey, Kendra, I really like you." And she said, "Thanks, I like you too," right? Because they always respond with something nice. That's what their job is. And I said, I'm a business owner, and I'm always looking for really good people. And I think you'd be great, right? So now I've told her this once already.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I call her, I say, "Listen, so I told you a little bit the other day, I'm a business owner. I have something that I really want you to look at. It might be something you could do on the side."
Well, you kind of warmed her up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But she's a perfect stranger. I actually don't know anything about her. She could smoke 4 packs a day, and I don't know that.
She could ex-murderer.
She could be an ex-murderer.
There's not a lot of people say that once you know their name and you've introduced yourself to them, that's warm market. Because cold market would be just pulling up the yellow pages or the white pages.
Yeah.
Somewhat, yes.
But
Yeah. I mean, there are times when I feel like I've built a rapport with the person at my cash register and they give me the wrong number. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? So, I mean, that person would still be a cold market person, even if they gave you the right number, right? So, I think a hot market would be, hey, I started something, you gotta check this out.
Absolutely.
I'm coming on.
Absolutely.
So it's about your comfort level on the phone too.
Well, I like the fact that you said you warmed them up at the
Sure.
supermarket or whatever by saying, just saying some nice things about them. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that helps out. Yeah, that makes it more acceptable. Okay.
So mastering the scripts. So my daily phone calls to Aristida, he threw these weird things at me, right? So I was able to master the weird things so that when the normal things came, it was easy, right? So master the scripts so that they can become conversational. So as far as us getting together, what works better for you? That's my go-to. Like, I could be flopping around in the middle of a phone call, but I know that I need to pause for a second and say, anyways, I've probably said more than I should have said, so as far as us getting together, what works better for you? Right? So it's a catch-all. And you're going to master them so that you can go off script, but still come back. So when there's an objection after, I want to pop by and share with you something that I'm doing, if there's an objection right there for whatever reason, I still know that I want to explain to them. If you or even somebody that you know in the future could use what we do, then you would know enough about it, right? And what's at the end of a phone call? So as far as
it's getting together.
So master them so that you don't say the wrong words. I have a business opportunity for you. I have a business. I want to recruit you. I have a job for you. I'm building my team. So depending on the person, those won't go well.
Right. But job, we're not really supposed to say job.
Right.
No,
Not
Yeah.
at all.
So,
that's why it says don't say.
Oh, don't
those
say,
words.
yes.
yeah, don't say, yeah. Okay, so you want to master the script so that you know the right words to say, okay? And at the close, you're going to be assumptive. So as far as us getting together, what works better for you?
Yeah.
And you're never going to ask, so what do you think about that?
Been there,
Right?
done that.
And the other one that I hear all the time from my new people is when they say, I just recently started something new and I want to actually pop by and show you what it is. Would that be okay? No, that would not be okay. We're really busy. We have lots of life happening all around us. So post-close to avoid a reschedule. So always ask, did you put that down in your calendar? Did you write that down? I had a lady, she called me the day after and I was like, oh shoot, dang, this lady's gonna cancel on me. She was like, is this Lynette? I said, yeah. She said, where's your rummage sale? I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, well, I wrote your name down on the rummage sale postcard. Where's your rummage sale? I'm like, no. You wrote my name down because I'm coming to your house on Thursday. She's like, oh, that's you. I was looking for your number. I'm like, when you get home, put the rummage sale postcard on your calendar. I don't know if she ever made it to the rummage sale. So in our audios, how many of you have access to the Relentless audios? Okay, so in our audios, we actually, Ian at the end, he finishes with, so unless you die or I die, I'll see you on Thursday. And you kind of chuckle about it. Everybody kind of laughs, right? Because we're not wanting them to die, and I don't want to die. I'm kind of uncomfortable with that. I said it the other day, and it went really well, and I really kind of laughed at my own self because I was like, oh, that went really well. But I use that very sparingly. I say things like, don't cancel on me because it's really important for you. So now I've made it personal for them, but with certain people, that's not going to be strong enough, right? So people need to see this. People need to know what we do. And what we do is good. We do what is right 100% of the time, okay? I sat with somebody the other day, and I was really not sure if I could help him. And not helping him in that situation was the best thing for him. I could have sold him into something that wasn't better for him, but it would have cost him more money, and he's not as insurable as he was when he was locked in before. But that doesn't mean that I can't help him with other things.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
He doesn't know other people.
It doesn't mean he doesn't know other people.
Absolutely.
Right? So he has MS. It's terrible. He's at a really progressed stage. He's taking like 6 medications to suppress it. But he has a wife and 4 young kids, and they were not insured. So it was a point that I knew that he had MS, but he still needs to see what we do. And that's when I was able to uncover that his wife and his kids don't have coverage. Right? And when you get confident on the phone, you will not be for sale on the appointment setting. And when Aristida called me to set up an appointment, he actually was really hot market for me. So he said, hey, what are you doing on Thursday? I'm coming over. I said, for what? He said, I started something new. I'm bringing Greg. And I said, okay. So, you know, with that phone call, he could have been nervous. I would have said no. But we were such hot market that he was just confident about it. Right? So how many of you have set one of those appointments? Right? So, I mean, sporadically place those in your phone calling list.
They really help.
The next thing is people need to see what we do, and you need to see what we do. So has everyone here done their financial analysis?
Several times.
Has anyone not done their financial analysis? All right, you and I are going to sit together afterwards. So I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm really good at the financial analysis. Okay, but the reason that I'm really good at it is because I saw how it worked for my family. And when Greg and Aristida sat with me and they showed me our financial analysis, we were going to be debt-free in 3 years following Dave Ramsey, everything but the mortgage. But they showed us how we can be debt-free in less than a year. And that is powerful. And so when I started, he said, we're going to go do all these training appointments. I said, okay, when are we going to do analyses? He said, after the training appointment. I'm like, but when are we going to do the, like, that was what I was excited for. That was what I wanted to do. And when we, you know, couldn't close, or when we didn't close, or whatever the case was that we couldn't get back in front of them, I wanted to call those people and say, just let me come do the analysis. And then we'll, you know, be able to convince you that you need life insurance. But they're not going to see the same value in the analysis. And so it's really tough to just give away the analysis, right? But when you have already done your analysis, then you will see what it says for you. And if you guys have not met Hannah, talk to her about her analysis. She absolutely loves it. She's like, can I call people on the phone and tell them I'm going to do their analysis? I'm like, no. She's like, but it's so cool. I'm like, no. And then you need to be a client yourself. So you're going to understand the way the process works when you're a client. And so when you're sitting with somebody and they say to you, so do you have these in place?
Absolutely.
Then you're going to be able to confidently say yes. And so again, back to Hannah real quick. Her and Michael, her husband, they closed life and they did their analysis, and somebody called him and said, so tell me about this Primerica company, because Hannah wants to sit with me, and I badgered her until she told me it was Primerica, so tell me what it is. And he, who is not licensed and not a partner yet, he like exploded on them, right? And
In a good way.
in a good way, yes, absolutely. And that was a benefit, because had we not closed life on them had we not done the financial analysis, he would have said, dude, I don't really know. She hasn't had the time to sit with us yet. So, I mean, sit with her and see what it's up. Like, it wouldn't have made sense. So it was a good testimony that they had done those things, right? And you can say, just trust me. You're going to want to look at this, right? So with all the objections, if they've got 3 or 4 objections, they're probably testing your confidence level. So just cut them off. 1 or 2 questions. So obviously you have questions. So as far as us getting together, what works better for you, right? And we already talked about this briefly. What we do is write 100% of the time. We are not inconveniencing people. And if you did your FNA, then you will recognize that this is something very important that they need to see. So sales reluctance. So how many of you are nervous about being a salesperson? Yeah. So there's bad connotations with being a salesperson out there. You're forced to sell something that you don't believe in. It wasn't the right need. Didn't like the sales tactics. The thing for me is I don't sell life insurance. Actually, I have a client that she was selling me that she didn't need life insurance. She had it through work. Her husband had a really great term policy that was 25 years old, and like red flags all over the place on my part. But I just kept asking questions. We were at the KT and I just kept asking questions because I knew the more questions I ask, the more she's going to understand. And at one point she said to me, "You're never going to believe this." And I said, "What's that?" And she said, "I just realized I need life insurance." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "If I die, he doesn't have health insurance. Health insurance is really expensive. And so I need at least like $50,000 in life insurance so that he can be all set." So she told me. So what we do is good. What we do is right. So we're rescuing people's lives financially. Having them move forward is going to be better for them. And so a lot of times people will say to me, like, "I don't know if I need life insurance, but I would absolutely start an investment account." Have you ever had somebody say that to you?
Sure.
Okay. So that's great. We should absolutely hook them up with an investment account, right? But if they die tomorrow, what is that investment going to do?
Nothing.
It's going to be nothing. So Assad actually told me the other day, he said, "Here's the deal, Lynette. The people in Chicago were so excited for the Sears Tower." Have you guys ever heard his Sears Tower analogy? So he said to me, they were so excited. The whole community was rallying around this, supporting it. And they were so excited to watch construction. And they were so disappointed because for 4 months, they looked down into a hole that seemed to be miles deep. And so it was really exciting to have that Sears Tower. But without the foundation in place, they're not going to be able to have the tower, right?
What you're saying, the foundation is
So-
unappealing.
So your tower is your super exciting retirement, right? So everybody wants to be sipping sodas on the beach, right? But at the same time, if you pass away and you don't even have your tower yet, you've got a massive hole. Your life insurance is filling that hole, right? Good analogy, right? Give it up for Assad. He makes some money here, so.
Just a
All
little.
right. So be convicted about what we do, right? So can you guys hear the passion in my voice?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what we do is right 100% of the time. I am not inconveniencing people. Actually, when I have people object to me with they're too busy, I say to them, to be perfectly honest, that's the exact reason why we need to meet. And I don't care what you tell me, you are going to sit with me and talk to me. So have that attitude. So get off the phone with an appointment. Don't just get off the phone, right? So I'm not for sale in what we do, and so you should not be for sale in what we do, right? So if you call me as a practice call and I throw an objection at you and you can't overcome it, then you need to call me back 5 minutes later, right? And you need to get the crusade inside of you. Assad, again, is really good at this. So Bill O'Render came last week, and Bill O'Render was all about recruiting and making money and being really excited about building a business. But Assad said, we also need to have the crusade. So on that Friday night, he talked a lot about the crusade, right? So yes, it's good to be in this business to recruit people, but we need that inside of us. So with objections, so we're gonna affirm, answer, and close. Have you guys ever heard that before? Or feel, felt, found, right? So I feel where you're coming from. I actually felt the same exact way a couple years ago, but when I actually saw, I believed, right? And when you're going over objections, you wanna be the professional, right? So you wanna be the one who can answer every single one of those. And sometimes people in this business will actually write down an objection on a cue card. So you actually have the objection on the cue card, so when they give it to you, you can say, that is a great question, while you're rifling through your cue cards. So you always want to start with an objection. That is a great question. That is a great point. Thank you for asking that. And always, 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 as far as us getting together. As far as us getting together, what works better for you after the objection? So what company do you work for, Rob?
Primerica.
Excellent, excellent. So,
As far as
Sorry, you threw me off because I didn't know where you were going with it. I didn't
So as
realize
far as
you
us
were the
getting
client.
together.
I thought I was the client. So as far as us getting together, what works better for you, Lynette? Weeknights or
we
weekends?
have to get better at this back and forth, folks. So, my number one objection is talk to your spouse. Talk to my spouse. Talk to their spouse.
Oh, that's
whoever.
good, yeah.
Somebody's spouse, right? So, that's absolutely fine. If I set up an appointment, my husband would be like, what? So, I want him to be there too. Just generally, what would work better for you guys? Evenings, weekends? Let's kind of narrow it down.
One thing I like to say too is, hey, because you mentioned you guys are really busy, so you want to talk to your husband. My schedule fills up really quick too.
Yeah.
So just in general, what typically works for you guys? Because I'd like to be able to put that down so this way we can go from there. And then if that doesn't work, just give me a call back with 2 days and times that does.
Yep. So, you're really busy?
Love this one.
So I can appreciate that. I'm really busy too. That's one of the main reasons that we should just solidify some time that we could sit down together. Right? So as far as us getting together. So another one for I'm too busy is that they don't necessarily know what we do yet, so there's not a whole lot of value there. And so, you know, there are times that you can actually say, you know, I hear you that you're telling me you guys are super busy, I get it, but at the same time, I really want to show you what it is. And so if you could give me 15 minutes, I promise you it's not going to be a waste of your time. And if after 15 minutes you really do feel like it is, then I will never bring this up again. And in the first 15 minutes of the appointment, you're at their table, and now you got to bring it. Right?
You said something like 5 or 10 minutes back about when you said people say I'm too busy, and you will be like, that's exactly what
That's
I was-
exactly why you need to sit with me.
All right.
Yep. Because typically when people are too busy, they're working 1 or 2 jobs. They're trying to save more money. They're, you know, constantly on the go because they're trying to make something from nothing. Mm-hmm.
How would you handle if
They're in the middle of a kitchen project, they're redoing the kitchen, redoing the
It's
bathroom.
great. It's a beautiful day on Saturday. Let's go sit in the backyard. I mean, with what I do, I can help you to get out of debt faster. So would it help you to get out of debt from your kitchen remodel? Then let's sit down. So as far as us getting together, right? So what company name is it? It's Primerica. So as far as us getting together, what works better for you? And what do you do? That's a great question. So I help people to make their money work harder for them. So this is a little bit more extravagant than that, but I help people to make their money work harder for them. Would you rather work super hard for all your money, Zach, or would you rather that your money do a little bit of work for you?
Money work for me.
So let's sit down together. So as far as us doing that, what would work best for you? Right? Anything else that you guys come up against?
Can you flip back to the last slide?
Yes.
I,
time with holidays.
Yeah. So around holiday times, there's actually a little different of a holiday script, but we know that people are home on holidays. So I know that holidays are super, super important for family time, but at the same time, I wouldn't be calling you and asking you to sit with me in this super crazy time if it wasn't super crazy important that I show you. And I know your schedule's super busy, and I know you're gonna be off on the 4th of July. So is it gonna be better for you if I come at like 8 in the morning? Or would it be better if I come at noon? Because then you can just finish up with me and be on with your festivities. I mean, just, if you know why you're here, then you know why you need to sit with people. Actually, Paul and I started, I took my licensing test the day before Thanksgiving. And so we started in the height of holiday season. And I remember we were actually both active in the field at the time, and we would take turns going to sit in the car, and we would take turns calling people. And I was in the car one day for hours. And I was actually making calls, and I would just hang up, you know, if they didn't answer my call. But I remember I got to a point where somebody answered and I was shocked and I didn't know what to say. Like, I was like, hi, how's it going? Hang on, let me regroup. I didn't expect you to answer.
I remember that call.
That was Rob, that's why he's here.
it worked.
But if you know why you're here, then making the appointments is gonna be a whole lot easier for you. So if you don't know why you're here, come sit with me because I'll throw some of my passion into you.
Absolutely.
What about objections on, double, you know, like making sure the appointments, you know, like if it's a day out of your calling to confirm, sorry, thank you, confirming the appointment, objections.
So I'm super excited to sit with you tomorrow. I just wanted to make sure that both you and Wendy are gonna be there, right? Yeah. So,
Well, we just had something come up, I don't think
yeah,
we have
absolutely.
time.
But we had this scheduled, so I'm just gonna pop in real quick, maybe like half an hour, and you know, then I'll let you get on your way. But this is gonna be really good, so I need you to squeeze me in because it fit before. So let's make it happen. I mean, just be absolute about it. I mean, you said it was okay before. You didn't cancel on me for 3 or 4 days, but now all of a sudden you need to. I mean, people, when they object, it's looking for more information.
If they're a couple
Mhm.
and it is something where one of the two will be away, they said, well, we definitely wanted the appointment, and when you call confirm, they go, but my husband got called, my
Okay.
wife got called in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually make a little bit of a joke and I say, you know, so it sounds like they're the one that I need to really talk to. So give me her number and I'll give her a call and I'll just set it up at a time that is good for the both of us. And they're like, well, no, you don't need to call her. Like, just it's all right. I can set up, you know, but just work around it. Like, I might not know Wendy really well, but it sounds like she's the one in control of the schedule, right? All right,
Yep.
this is good.
Next week, mental toughness.
Yes.
Please help tidy the room up.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yep.